Well, my heart starts sinking and I'm thinking, what's the reason why we holding back from being kind? What's the disease? But then I sense we are fine. It'll all happen one small step at a time. When the world is full of violence and it needs a little kindness, I just sit and pray in silence, and God shows me the signs. Open my eyes, realize we are fine. One small act at a time. Last night I'm walking home and the homeless man says hello with a smile to let me know that he's got a lot of hope. He says, have faith, young man, we are fine. The world is kind. One small act at a time. Small acts we do together, even though maybe alone, changes the world for the better so we can call it home. And this is life as we know, when our hearts are aligned, the magic that unfolds one small act at a time. Throw your hearts up, let it fly high, let your love for all the world spread through the skies. Let it drop down, let it all go, spreading kindness to every single living soul. Can you see your love for me shining through? Cause what you see in me, I can see in you. And soon enough, you and me will be out of time, and kindness will be all we can leave behind. Yeah, feeling grateful today. Never thought this day would come where I would feel it and say that each and every one of us has paved the way doing good, and now we're all just moving up. When I'm kinda you pay it forward. This is how we build trust. Never had faith, but now I'm seeing you eye to eye. Wanna gift you my life, wanna spread love before I die. Thank you, God, for finally letting me realize when I serve man, I'm really serving you in disguise. Smiles everywhere, cause now everybody's got the bug. Ain't no life without the love. If it is, it ain't no fun. What we gonna do now? Just grab a friend and give a hug. Spread it out real wide so everyone can be touched. Throw your hearts up, let it fly high, let your love for all the world spread through the skies. Let it drop down, let it all go, spreading kindness to every single living soul. Can you see your love for me shining through? Cause what you see in me, I can see in you. And soon enough, you and me will be out of time, and kindness will be all we can leave behind. All we can leave behind. For you and I, kindness is all we can leave behind. All we can leave behind. For you and I, kindness is all we can leave behind. When all is said and done, kindness is all we can leave behind. Throw your hearts up, let it fly high, let your love for all the world spread through the skies. Let it drop down, let it all go, spreading kindness to every single living soul. Can you see your love for me shining through? Cause what you see in me, I can see in you. And soon enough, you and me will be out of time, and kindness will be all we can leave behind.
Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Spokane. I got to tell you, I'm a little taken. I'm really excited. I'm looking out here. I wish those of you watching on YouTube, but it just feels so good to see people and be around people and get here and see some familiar faces, even though they've got masks on. And it's just, I'm a little overwhelmed right now because it's been so long since I've been around my people. So anyways, Unity Spiritual Center of Spokane, where we're all about our mission of transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world. My name is Jeff Taney, and I'll be your platform assistant this morning. As always, we want to begin our time together by sharing our opening affirmation. I will say it once and then ask you to repeat it with me. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. Repeat. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. This is Unity's foundation principle. One presence, one power, one life, living through and as each of us. This morning, we're excited to hear from our own transformational speaker, Mary Teresa True, and her message titled "Us and Them and How Meditation Can Fix It." I'm looking forward to that. Mary Teresa will also be leading us through today's meditation. And now it's time for some news you can use by our own Karen, my darling.
Good morning. It is wonderful to see everybody up here today. Ooh, sorry. My name is Karen Dahl-Darling, and I'll be sharing the news you can use today. For our Zoom book study, licensed Unity teacher Karen Dunmore is offering a book study via Zoom on My Grandmother's Hands by Rasma Manikam. Please join Karen on Zoom Wednesday evenings at 6, beginning February 10th. This group is by Love Offering. If you're interested, contact Karen by email at dunmork@gmail.com. New community member orientation. For anyone interested in learning more about becoming a community member, please join Amber McKenzie for a new member orientation on Sunday, February 7th at noon via Zoom. Please email Amber if you are interested in attending, and that would be at amckenzie@unityspokane.org. There will be no ROA Zoom call after services today, so you can join our virtual town hall at 11:30. Please join us after services, and be sure to note the correct Zoom number to call there on the screen. Let's see, next, Transformational Speaker Series. Coming up on Sunday, February 7th, we have Mark Terrell, and his talk is titled Being Tethered to the Love of God. On the following Sunday, February 14th, Valentine's Day, we have local wellness coach, writer, and inner wilderness guide, Heather Grover, who will be sharing her message titled A Cold and Broken Hallelujah. Now on to spirit groups. Mondays at 7 p.m., book study will be on Be Water, My Friend by Shannon Lee, hosted by Jeff Tawney. Email Jeff if you'd like to join. Wednesdays at 1 p.m., Sunday message group hosted by Rhonda Krause. Email or call Rhonda to join. Thursdays at 7 p.m., we have the Power of 8 meditation group hosted by Sandy Schilling. Email or call Sandy to join. Please note, the previous email we shared for Sandy was incorrect. The correct email is updated on the screen and will be in the weekly e-newsletter on Wednesday. Fridays at 7 p.m., we have book study on The Healing Code by Ben Johnson, hosted by Ann and Gary Howard. Email them to join. And there's a bonus group with a date and time to be announced. It's Spiritual Considerations for Political Challenges, hosted by Pat Mertens. I think we all need that. Email Pat for details. And now, I'm very happy to introduce today's transformational speaker, longtime Unity member and licensed Unity teacher, our very own Mary Teresa True.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Oh, you did it. Good morning. I'm with Jeff. I'm with you as far as being here again. It's so exciting to see people. Last time I was here was Mother's Day. Jane was over there. My husband Doug was way back there, and there was Caleb. So it's very interesting. You just treat it like everybody's all here, and it's just wonderful to see so many people today. First of all, you are not here by accident. You are here by divine appointment. And I began putting my thoughts together for this particular talk on January 6th. Hence the title of the talk, Us and Them. So, and the kind of funny thing that was happening along with the pandemic, I'm going to talk about the pandemic and a little bit of history here. was that we purchased a new computer a year ago in January, had some troubles with it, pandemic came, couldn't get it in, got it in. Well, when it was time for me to type everything up, I type everything. We didn't have a computer, it's in Kentucky. So I had a first generation iPad, which actually worked, and my journal, and you can see how I get my thoughts down on my journal. So, it's all around, and so it was kind of interesting and disconnected, and typically 2020, I think 2020 has become an action verb these days. But anyway, we are here and it worked. So here we go. Being a recent career and technical teacher and a career counselor for the last 6 years, I remember thinking about when I went to workshops, how important it was for me that whatever I got in that nugget of workshop, I had to be able to take and put into the classroom or work in my office with. It had to be like that. That's how I knew I had a good workshop. So my goal today is to give you some strategies, being able to teach meditation for the last 20 years and use it literally daily. And now that I'm retired, I get to do it for even hours a day. So it's literally changed my life. And I see several of you here have been in my meditation classes, and it just makes my heart sing. So that is my goal for today. So I have recently been really interested in why we as humans do what we do, even if we don't like ourselves for doing it. I've been researching the brain and the why. Let's begin with a bit of background first and dive into the why, and then I'd like to end with our meditation, which will hopefully provide you with some empathy resolution. To be completely honest, I believe that if I am thinking about it, I believe others may be interested in it as well, and my research might, just maybe, assist others in finding comfort, support, and a peaceful heart. So when I am asked, how am I doing, my answer is often, COVID okay, which means today I'm okay, and most likely tomorrow I'm going to be okay, but within a week I will be ugly crying over a Netflix movie, Doug can attest to this, sappy commercials, and probably the news. When asked why, it's called surge capacity. When we define surge capacity, it's a collection of adaptive systems, mental and physical, that humans draw on for short-term survival in acutely stressful situations such as natural disasters. But natural disasters occur over a short period, and even if recovery is a long time, which I'm sure we're going through it with the windstorm, there's an end in it. Hopefully you have your power back. I think power even went back off for a while for some people. Another tree fell down. But basically you have just cleanup to deal with, correct? There is an insight, and you know that there will be an end to that. But pandemics are different. What we're living through right now is different. The disaster is stretching out almost indefinitely. This pandemic has demonstrated both what we can do with our surge capacity and the inevitable limits of our own personal capacity. Why should we think that we should be able to be used to this by now? We have never done this before. We are all beginners at this, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, hopefully. It is really expecting a lot of us to think that we are handling it very well. Now we know there's vaccines coming along and things are opening back up, but we still don't have what we used to know as normal. And I think what's all been told, we're not going to go back to normal as what we remember it. So Dr. Ann Matson from the University of Minnesota explains this is an unprecedented disaster for most of us that has profound its impact on our own daily lives. But it's different than a hurricane or a tornado where you can look outside and see the damage. The destruction is, for most of us, invisible and ongoing. So many systems aren't working as they normally do right now, which means radical shifts in work, school, home life that almost none of us have ever experienced before. We underestimate how severe the adversity is that people may be experiencing in a normal reaction to a pretty severe, ongoing, unfolding, cascading disaster. It is important to recognize that it's normal in a situation of great uncertainty and chronic stress that you get exhausted and you feel ups and downs, to feel like you're depleted and experience periods of burnout. Now, I do like to talk about self-care, and I'm sure that you've heard it before, but one of the things that has helped me is stepping back and breathing. And in my meditations, I often ask people in the beginning that if you have something to let go, when you inhale, when you exhale longer than you inhale. And that signifies to the brain and through the breath, that it will release. And there's studies that have shown that that works to give you peace and to bring your heart center into a nice, cohesive area. Another thing that we are experiencing right now is ambiguous loss, which is any loss that's unclear and lacks resolution. The pandemic has been a loss of a way of life, of the ability to meet up with family and friends, and perhaps for some of us, the loss in the trust of our government. The loss of rituals like weddings, graduation, memorials, and birthdays, even rituals like going to the gym and classes, but I understand gyms are opening up. We are attached to these things, but they are gone right now, and that is ambiguous loss. It's not a death, but a major loss all the same. What we are used to has now been taken away. What we have to do, need to do, is accept that it is happening and become okay with the fact that it is a tough time, and it is what it is. We can use this feeling as a baseline. By no means is it to give up. It means that we don't fight reality. We do not resist our deep feelings. We embrace our humanness. For most of us, we have been taught to expect more from ourselves. We now must give ourselves permission to do just the opposite. Expect less of ourselves and replenish ourselves through authentic actions. Ask yourself, where do I get my energy? What am I so passionate about that I can get lost in for several hours, look up the clock, and not even realize the time has gone by? What can I do to instantly that will enhance and improve my mood and feelings? And yes, what is it that makes your heart sing? Yes, self-care. I'm going to talk about empathy, and it is absolutely nothing new to any of you here in Unity, in the quiet and in the stillness and in mindfulness. So, I was doom scrolling the other day. Yes, that's a term. Do you do it, on your phone? Okay. You're on your phone and you keep scrolling away to keep searching obsessively, scanning for news. It triggers the release of stress hormones that affect your mental and physical health, and I can attest to that 100%. I wondered why we do this, so I did some research. It turns out our brains love this stuff. And for only one reason. It's to keep us safe. The brain is always looking out for our physical and mental safety. I'd actually like us to start thinking about being hope scrolling as you're going down and say, okay, what's going to make me feel better? What's going to make me? But your brain is always, when you're walking on the ice, and we have lots of ice up at Priest Lake. When you're walking on the ice, your brain is always scanning where you're going, where am I put my foot, how am I going to balance, those kind of things. But that's what your brain is doing when you're looking on the computer. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it can be obsessive. Anything obsessive can be a bad thing. But turn it into hope scrolling, looking for that next wonderful quote, which a lot of us get to share on Facebook. And before I get into the us and them, I want to talk just a little bit about trauma and grief. And what we're seeing right now and reading about is trauma. You're getting it every day. Everyone is affected differently. And when we see trauma, we experience grief. We often try to normalize it, and we beat ourselves up by saying, I have it much less worse than those who have lost their homes to fires, friends and family to the virus, have to assist their child in homeschooling, or even lost a job. Whatever we are experiencing right now, whatever you are experiencing right now, is your grief. The grief that matters to you is the grief you are experiencing. Do not allow your ego to compare yourself to others. What you are experiencing in your grief is your grief, and that's all that matters. Now, while trauma does change the brain, healing also changes the brain. My talk title is Us and Them and How Meditation Can Fix It. But first we need to look and understand what us's and them's are. I began to get my ideas down on paper on January 6th, and I was really thinking of in terms of the us and them on that day. And I am painfully aware that people protest because they don't feel heard. And when people don't feel heard, they shout. Why couldn't they have just used all caps? By the way, this was inspired by a StoryCorps NPR episode 692, if you're interested. Brain research shows that we have a default mechanism that awakens in the amygdala that always will have us identify our world into us's and them's. So when you look at a picture of someone or you see someone on the news, do you find I identify with that person or I will never talk to that person? That's the us and the them's. Our brain tends to like the us's better than the them's. Even primates do this, distinguish between different tribes. The point is that we are all in different tribes and our brain is always shifting and fluid to allow us to overreact when stressed or tired to keep us safe. It also has to do with our environment and our genes. We are hardwired to always put and see them in categories of us's and them's. At the same time, we are not hardwired to know who the us's and the them's are. And all humans do this. No one on earth cannot do this, except for maybe the Dalai Lama. Oddly enough, speech research has shown that the beginning of the human language started with us's and them's. We began communicating to help determine who belonged in our clan or tribe and who didn't. We see the them's as vermin and automatically categorize them as such. But there is great news. We are subject to change. We can change our minds. While we do this automatically, remember to keep us safe, we can change our minds. We do this by teaching, learning, and experiencing. We can change how we view each other in different groups. Why would we want to change our feelings, though, and open up to categorizations of us's and them's? Shouldn't we rely on our brain to keep us safe? Well, let's explore a little bit more. There's this really cool thing from 1954 called contact theory. Any educators in here? First suggested by Albert Allport. Education has used it for decades to reduce prejudice between a majority group and a minority group. Basically, it's that under specific conditions, people who have conflict with each other can come together and talk and eventually see other humans and see each other as other humans and not the vermin that our brains want to categorize them as. We need to talk to each other. We might need to have a referee to help guide us, but we need to communicate with each other. When we can sit across from each other, when we can listen to each other, when we can have empathy for each other, we can include thems and us's. Up in Sandpoint, Idaho, there's a community-minded group that is engaged with people who want to build bridges, foster respectful relationships, and encourage humanity across the red and blue divide. The national organization is called Braver Angels. And I'm not going to talk about their organization, but I wanted to bring it up because they use contact theory to work on understanding the other's point of view rather than convincing them of theirs. They also look for common ground and ways to work together. They learn how to listen and speak in a way that doesn't antagonize each other. I do remember a white stone ceremony where I had the word listen and tried to work on that for a whole year. That was fun. How many times has your voice in your head done that, antagonize? This organization teaches the use of the word and instead of but. It leaves much more of an opening for further conversation. If we don't get what we want, we can either turn toward each other or we can turn on each other. If we turn on each other, we won't survive. If we don't learn to turn towards each other, we won't survive. When we see the thems as less than, we dehumanize. We don't know them as humans that can experience pain, grief, or loss of love. We might see them as nameless and faceless. We might see them as just a data point, not a human life. Brene Brown does this thing in her classes to illustrate moral inclusion, and that's the us's. So bring your arms around in a circle. The people whom you would die for, your family, your friends, the tribe, those are the ones inside the circle. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the us's. The people, when you push those people outside your arms, or other people outside your arms, we don't see them at us's anymore because they aren't the part of our circle. That's the thems. So here's the deal. We can change our brain, how our brain perceives the us's and thems. It can take months for our hearts to change. Let me repeat that. It can take months for our hearts to change, but in just a single moment, we can change how we think and how we feel about others. It's called empathy. It's called asking for guidance and listening. It's called focusing on what you'd rather be feeling than what you are feeling. No one has changed somebody's mind by calling them a fool or an idiot. No one has changed their own mind by believing themselves superior. We must truly place ourselves in another's position to understand our own. We have been called to unity by our government. We cannot have unity unless we have accountability. Let me be clear. Revenge is not accountability. Holding someone accountable is providing a space where they know and understand the situation, and then they can make amends as they see fit. It is not allowing our anger to pursue revenge. Revenge comes from fear. Accountability comes and aims towards love. We can only have healing when we are held responsible. In seeking empathy for those whom we have seen as thems, we will hold ourselves accountable for our own feelings and then be free from our self-imposed need for acceptance. In other words, in seeking empathy and kindness for others, we find empathy and kindness for ourselves. And two examples of that in the teaching, learning, and experiencing is when we have a small child and teaching them that hitting is not a way to resolve issues. We teach them, they learn, and then they experience it. They learn, okay, I'm not supposed to hit. Another one is when we work on our own health and maybe perhaps trying to lose weight, becoming healthier. We hold ourselves accountable by watching what we eat, moving more, and then experiencing the change, the teaching, the learning, and the experiencing. So where do we begin? We begin right here and right now. While the heart needs time, the mind does not. We begin with ourselves. You'll find that there are very few rules once you open your mind to the quiet. One is to listen. Another is to trust that you can do this. And if you find that hard right now, that's okay. Because be patient, because there are others that are holding the space for you. Trust and believe that you can embrace the empathy for those who your brain has categorized as them. Not all will become us's, but the bridge will have been built and you will have crossed it into the blessing of empathy. And there's 3 different kinds of empathy. This comes from the University of Stanford professor Dr. Jamal Zaki, and I don't like the title of his book, it's War on Kindness, when they mix those things, War on Kindness. But anyway, and prayer warriors always have trouble with that one too. But anyway, so he talks about 3 different types of empathy. And there's the emotional empathy where we take on another's feelings. And I would think that's when we're really good friends. I understand what you're going through, that kind of thing. There's the cognitive empathy, which is trying to figure out why they are feeling the way they are. That's a little bit deeper. And then there's the concern or compassion, the empathetic concern, where you want them to feel better. You just, I'm feeling this empathy for this person, and there's nothing more in this world that I want for them to feel better. And so when I'm talking about the us's and them's, and when the meditation that we will experience at the end of the talk, we're really going to be looking at cognitive. We want to know the why. Why are you thinking the way you are? Because I'm not understanding that. So it's about breath, it's about balance. It's been said that during meditation, you need to keep your mind open and try not to think about anything. Just let your guidance come. For some folks, that's really hard to do. Is that hard for anybody else to do? It is for me. Sometimes my mind's in and out all over. That's the phases of meditation. That's another talk. For some folks, it's hard to do, but what I want us to do today is to focus on one thing for the entirety of this meditation. You'll pick with it, so you'll be joining me in the breath. The one thing that I have noticed about meditation for myself and for others is that when I hold myself accountable for my own mindfulness and my own breath, I know that I can find peace in my heart. With the events of January 6th and all the consequential Wednesdays after that and the things that we have had, it's easy to see how divided that we can become. But I truly believe that the way to overcome that is to find empathy for others. And that's what we'll be experiencing in my meditation. So, thank you.
I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. And I am light. I am light. I am not mistakes that I haven't made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left inside. I am light. I am light. Oh, I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age, I'm not my race. My soul inside is all light. I'm light. And I am light. I am divinity divine. I am God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. I am light. Oh, I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. Oh.
Before we begin the meditation, I'd like to give you a little bit of background on it. A while back in this spiritual community, we studied and participated in the focusing of Power Up process for spirit groups. Designed by Lynn McTaggart in the book The Power of Eight, when practicing this, the group first focuses on loving kindness, then shifts to the focus of one individual within the group. McTaggart's research shows that the power of 8 people is what's needed. We set an intention. It's said in a short sentence or just a few words, and then the group enters into a process of focusing on this individual for a period of 10 minutes. Blessings to the siren. My experience with this process, and we did use it in chaplain meetings, in our spirit group, was that I have never been so focused during a meditation than as I was when I had a very clear and specific desire to hold for another. I stated before that it has been said that the goal of meditation is to breathe, call upon the divine, and be open to any messages you experience. This is called mindfulness. I'd rather call it mindlessness. The attempt at making your mind less so that you can be filled with spirit. In today's meditation, I'd like us to focus on just one desire or intention that is on your heart right now. This meditation is designed to assist in truly anything you have on your heart, and you can certainly choose any desire you want. But for this experience, I suggest that we look towards empathy for others. Let us begin. As you settle into your meditation space, focus on the breath. Whole, deep, and accepting. Breathing deep, you relax your body and slowly relax your thoughts and feelings into the now. While focusing on the breath, check in with what you are feeling right now. What are your emotions? If there is something you need to release, release it on the out breath. Let your out breath be longer than your in breath. Now, focus on sending loving kindness to those you love, your family and friends. And what are you feeling? Send kindness to our community. And how do you feel? Send kindness to our country. And how do you feel? Send kindness to the whole world. And what are you feeling? Take a moment to examine how you feel regarding a person, idea, or concept with whom you have a disagreement or adversarial relationship. Focus on this person or idea. How do you feel? Is there something you'd rather be feeling? If so, name it. Place yourself in a time where you have experienced something similar to where this person is coming from. Might you have had the same reaction, feeling, or desire as this person? When in your life have you been faced with something either the same or close to the same experience as this adversary? And what are you feeling? Again, what would you rather be feeling? This feeling will become your focus for the silent portion of the meditation. Claim the feeling. Try to keep it to just a few words. While this is deep and extensive work, keeping the desire simple will assist you in reaching your intention. Now, in the silence, focus on this intention for a few moments. Focus on this and only this for the meditation, quiet time. Take a deep breath in and release. Are you able to feel empathy for this individual or idea? Bring these feelings as far into your day as possible, and know that while this isn't easy work, it is rewarding and releasing work. Know that you will find comfort and peace in your desire. If you find this hard to do for yourself, know that there are others holding the space for you, and peace is the focus. So be it. Bring your attention around behind your eyes. Move your fingers and toes. Come back to your meditation space and open your eyes when you are ready. And know that you are loved. Thank you. Just an aside note, I've recorded this on Insight Timer, and you can access that on the internet. That's what it looks like, with longer pauses for longer empathy release. So enjoy. Thank you.
Wow. On behalf of myself, those of us here, and those of us listening online, thank you. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God, the many paths to God, for we know that there is only one power, one presence, and one life. So whoever you are, or wherever you are on your spiritual journey, in your journey of transformation, you are welcomed here. And I would just say that we've talked a lot about the members of us being here, but we haven't really talked about how to be here. Just know that those of you that are watching that would desire to be here in this presence, you can go to unityspokane.org, buy a ticket. It's not a cost, but it's just basically reserving your spot, and you can actually be here in attendance with us, and it would be much desired. If you are new to our ministry and you're interested in learning more about any of our upcoming transformational speakers, workshops, and events, you can sign up for our email newsletter by texting Unity Spokane to 22828, or sign up on our website at unityspokane.org. We would also like to connect with you on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search Unity Spiritual Center Spokane to find us. Now is the time for us to acknowledge and bless one another with a socially distanced namaste greeting. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or at home, please feel free to stand and send your conscious, loving energy to those around you. And I would also like to add that for those of us here, and if you're online, if you heard sirens in the background, there's something going on, and Spirit knows what it is. So maybe we can send some love and thoughts there. So let's just take a minute. Now is the time to celebrate abundance together as we share our gifts and love offerings. For those of you feeling the divine call here to financially support our ministry today, you can drop your love offering in the box at the back of the sanctuary. Another option is to text GIVE, that's the way I do it every week, to 253-528-7416. Or you can visit our website, unityspokane.org, and click on the donate button at the top. Please know that your giving means so much to the vitality of our ministry. With that in mind, let us take a moment to now sink into our hearts and bring forth a feeling of gratitude and generosity as we say together our love offering blessing. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I give thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. Our chaplains today are Gary, who is holding virtual space for us in prayer at home, and my buddy Steve is here today, who is holding space here in the sanctuary. Thank you so much to Gary and to Steve. We would like to encourage anyone who is in need of prayer and support to please submit your requests through our online form. Simply go to unityspokane.org and click on the Contact Us button on the main page. You will be taken to a prayer request form. Names are added to our prayer list and are prayed over for 30 days, both by our prayer ministry as well as Silent Unity. Now let's take a moment and join me in our prayer for protection. This is our closing prayer, and by that we'll follow it with our peace song. So together we affirm, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and that's the truth.
Peace that was meant to be with God as Creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be a joyous vow to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Thank you.